Hello, YouTube again. I'm going to finish off part 2 of my testimony of how God came into my life. And the last I was speaking to you was when I was in the hospital and I woke up on an overdose. And how my grandson cried out to God for me not to die. But anyways, I went home on my way home after they let me out from the doctor. I went home and my wife had told my children to go to bed. She said, I need to talk to you. And she told me, Robert, I don't know what you're going to do. I cannot take it anymore. She said that I don't know how you're going to quit because I tried rehabs. I tried the inpatient program. I tried outpatient program. I even tried the 1 pill a day Suboxone program. Nothing ever helped me. I just abused every single thing that I had. Every program never worked. And I believe that Satan just didn't want to let me go. Well, anyway, she told me that night, she told the kids go to bed. And she told me, she said, Robert, I don't know how you're going to quit, but I'm going to tell you right now, you better figure this out by the morning. Either you find a way to quit, or either you pack up your stuff and you get out of my house, because you're not gonna die here. Sometimes it takes stuff like that because we put our families through so much. But anyways, I woke up the next morning and I knew I couldn't quit. I knew the strong hold that was upon my life. I just could not quit. So anyways, I packed my bags and I left the house. I left this down to the streets of Colfax. I was just lost, in and out of crack houses, drinking. I was like very confused at the moment, because I was withdrawing from my medications and I had lost everything. And anyways, I was out there for about 21 days. And it finally came to the point where I was, broke, had enough money to maybe buy me a bottle of whiskey. And I went and I sat underneath this tree, and I opened up my backpack and I had pulled out some pills that I had. They were sleeping pills. These pills were very strong sleeping pills. They put you to sleep for a whole day. But anyways, I had a whole handful. And then I started talking to God, and I said, God, I've been addicted to things my whole life. I was to the point where I had lost my family, lost everything that I have ever owned. I couldn't even look in the mirror and look at myself because I couldn't stand of who I was. Just like a failure in life, it seemed like. But anyways, at that moment I said, God, you know what? I'm gonna take these pills and I'm done. All I wanted was to have a life like a normal life, without having to depend on drugs, pills, things of the world to make me happy. I just wanted my family, my children. It was such a mess. But anyways, I cried out to God and I asked him, I said, God, you know what? I'm going to take these pills and I'm done. And I heard that, if I commit suicide, that I will go to hell. But God, I don't know what to do. So I told God sarcastically, I said, God, if you are so for real, and help me. How are you going to help me? I had the pills in my hand, and I said, if you could help me, God, I'll serve you. I only was negotiating with God because I really didn't believe He was going to do anything for me. But anyways, I fell asleep, and I woke up like maybe 2-3 hours later. I was so cold, and I looked on the floor. I dropped my pills. The bottle that I had of whiskey fell over on the pills, and they were all mushy. But anyways, I was just cold, and I got up. I was so broke, and I heard, like, you know how you get change that falls in your pockets in your jacket and it gets lost way in the back. But anyways, I dug in there and I found 2 quarters that were in my jacket. And I was thinking, I can't even make a phone call. A phone call's $1. So I thought, from where I was at, underneath this tree, crying out to God, from a distance, maybe a block, I could see a telephone booth there. And I thought, maybe I'll go call somebody. And on the way out, I'll ask somebody for a couple of quarters to use the phone. But on my way, I asked a couple of people. Nobody would give me a couple of quarters. So anyways, I just kind of paced back and forth by the phone. And I looked at the phone and it said 3 minutes for 50 cents. I got that phone and I called my daughter. And I told my daughter I wanted to talk to her and the family. And she told me, just tell me where you're at. And I told her where I was. I was on Colfax in Peoria. She picked me up and I told her I wanted to go back home. And I needed to talk to everybody. All my kids and my grandkids, they were all there. They sat around and I just told them I want to come home. If I ever decide to go into any drinking or drugs again, then I'll just pack my stuff and I'll never come back again and bother them. I never told them that I had talked to God. I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want them to think, Dad, you talked to God? You know, just be happy, you know, they would have thought, well, hey, you know, we accept you back home, but come on now, God, now you're going too far, Dad. Because of all the other lies I told them. But anyways, I went home, and it went on like about a whole year. I didn't think about drinking. I didn't think about drugs. I didn't think about none of those things. But something wasn't right. My family knew that I was clean from these drinking and these drug addictions, but I was real quiet. You know, when I got home, I kind of went in my backyard, and I started just cleaning the yard, thinking, wow, am I gonna get sick? I had no withdrawals. I had no desire for drinking and alcohol or nothing like that. But I didn't understand that God was trying to help me. He was helping me. He delivered me from that cry out underneath that tree, and I woke up. I was not the same ever again. But I know one thing. I was kind of lost still. I was empty inside. I kind of just stood by myself a lot, stood quiet, and about a year and a half went by. I started getting real sick. I didn't know what was wrong. I started like seeing like flashing in my eyes, and I was like getting real weak all the time. And I kept thinking, oh man, what's wrong with me? I even started talking to God, saying, God, I haven't drank, I haven't used drugs, and I've been getting sick, and I didn't understand what was going on. And I didn't want to tell my family that I was sick because they would have thought that, oh And there goes my dad back to the doctors. The only time I ever went to the doctors was for prescriptions. And they would have thought, after all this time, now he's going back. So I didn't say nothing. I just kind of dealt with it and tried to hide it as best I could. It went on for like 4 months. Started getting worse. I couldn't go nowhere. I felt real shaky all the time. I had to fall asleep 2-3 times a day because I was like passing out. I didn't know whether the pills that I had took all them years messed me up or what it was. But I started losing weight and getting angry because I was sick. And then one day my wife had told me, there's something wrong with you. And I told her, I said, Lee. I call my wife Lee. But anyways, I said, Lee, I am so sick. I just didn't want to tell you guys anything because I didn't want you guys to think that I would have went back on the pills. Because I don't think about those things. But I am sick. I feel like I'm going to die. You know, I didn't understand the sickness I had. But anyways, she told me, why don't I go with you to the doctor and we'll see together what's wrong. Like I said, this was like 1.5 years later. Anyways, I went to the doctors, me and my wife, and they told me that they had to do some blood tests. And they did some blood tests on me, and they told me that I have to come back. And I did some more blood tests for them so they could send off. And they had called me at the end of the week, and the doctor told me not to eat nothing with sugars and carbohydrates and stuff like that. He said I had to maintain what I was eating. And